It was supposed to be a peaceful weekend retreat. My friends and I rented a cabin deep in the woods, far from the chaos of the city. On the first night, we sat around the fire, telling ghost stories and laughing at our own fears. As the night grew darker, the fire began to die down. I volunteered to gather more firewood. With a flashlight in hand, I ventured into the forest. The further I went, the thicker the trees became, casting eerie shadows. I could hear the distant hoots of an owl and the rustling of leaves underfoot. Suddenly, my flashlight flickered and went out, plunging me into darkness. I tried not to panic as I fumbled with the flashlight. That's when I heard it, a soft, whispering voice calling my name. I froze, convinced it was one of my friends playing a prank. But the voice was unfamiliar and chilling. Turning slowly, I saw a figure standing between the trees. It was a tall, dark silhouette with no discernible features. It just stood there, staring at me. My heart pounded as I took a step back. The figure moved forward, and I could see its eyes, glowing with a sinister light. I bolted back to the cabin, not daring to look back. When I burst through the door, my friend saw my pale face and knew something was wrong. I tried to explain what I had seen, but they laughed it off. We all went to bed, but I couldn't sleep. The next morning, we found strange footprints around the cabin, leading into the forest. None of us had left the cabin during the night. We cut our trip short and never spoke of that weekend again. But I'll never forget those glowing eyes in the darkness. When I moved into my new apartment, I found an old, ornate mirror left by the previous tenant. It was beautiful, with an intricately carved wooden frame. I decided to keep it, hanging it in my bedroom. One night, as I was getting ready for bed, I caught a glimpse of something strange in the mirror. There was a shadowy figure standing behind me. I spun around, but my room was empty. Brushing it off as my imagination, I went to bed. Over the next few weeks, I began seeing the figure more frequently. It would appear in the background, always standing still, watching me. Each time I turned around, there was nothing there. I started feeling uneasy in my own home, avoiding the mirror whenever possible. One night, I woke up to a cold breeze and found the mirror covered in condensation. Written in the fog was a single word, leave. My heart raced as I stared at the message. I decided then that I had to get rid of the mirror. The next day, I took the mirror to the basement storage, hoping to never see it again. That night, I heard a noise coming from the hallway. I opened my bedroom door and there it was, the mirror, leaning against the wall outside my room. Terrified, I smashed the mirror to pieces and threw it in the dumpster. The disturbances stopped after that, but I still feel watched sometimes, as if the mirror spirit never truly left. My grandparents' house was always a bit creepy, with its creaky floors and dimly lit hallways. When they passed away, my family inherited the house, and we decided to clean out the attic. Among the dusty old furniture and boxes, I found an antique doll. It had porcelain skin, blue glass eyes, and a white lace dress. Intrigued, I brought the doll downstairs and placed it on a shelf in my room. That night, I awoke to the sound of faint giggling. I sat up in bed, trying to locate the source. My eyes fell on the doll, which seemed to have moved slightly from its original position. I convinced myself it was just my imagination and went back to sleep. Over the next few nights, the giggling continued, getting louder and more distinct. One night, I woke to find the doll sitting on my bedside table, staring at me with its unblinking blue eyes. Horrified, I decided to lock the doll in a trunk in the basement. I thought that would be the end of it, but the giggling persisted, now accompanied by the sound of tiny footsteps. One night, I couldn't take it anymore. I went to the basement to dispose of the doll once and for all. As I opened the trunk, the doll's eyes seemed to glint with malice. I threw it into the fireplace, watching as the flames consumed it. The giggling stopped after that, but I still feel uneasy in the house. Sometimes, I think I hear faint whispers coming from the attic, as if the doll spirit is still lingering, waiting for someone to find it again.